Soundtrack TV. We the best in time. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up. To Soundtrack TV. Turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up, turn up. To Soundtrack TV. Veronica the boss for Soundtrack TV. She here to give you the best. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Soundtrack TV.
I love
Soundtrack TV is here. We here to inform you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this time to welcome you to our first episode of PrimeTime Friday here at Samdra TV. My name is Leon Twazaman, and today I'm going to be the captain of this ship as we have our first discussion of the new year. I want to wish you a happy new year wherever you are. It is so wonderful to see you here again. We look for a greater and better things this 2026. We know that people have had a lot of 2026 expectations, now 2026 New Year wishes, right? So we want to wish you all happy New Year from the team here at PrimeTime Friday. So our co-host will be joining us, our panelists will be joining us shortly. So we will get the ball rolling until we have them in studio. Because of some happening here in the United States, we will be speeding up with the show. So we will be going as fast as we can because we have an event to attend later on today. So today we are going to be looking at three distinct topics, right? We're going to be focusing our discussion on youth and values. We're going to focus our discussion on education and the future, as well as we're going to be looking pretty much those two, right? Because of sake of time would not be. And then we're going to talk about the current content meet that's happening now. A lot of controversies when it comes to the decision of the referee between Grand River G and Nimba. We're going to be having that conversation. So our panelists will be here to join me in the studio. But we're going to get started, right? So we're going to talk about youth and value in Liberia. So we see that most of our youths in the country, I know we talk mostly about youth here because this is the day dedicated to us to talk about youth, right? So we see many of our youth in Liberia and around the world, Liberia particularly, we have to understand what are our values as young people, right? What value do we have as Liberians to make an impact on the country, right? There are a lot of young people in the country, there are a lot of quote unquote youth in the country who want to make meaningful change, who want to make change in the country, but then they don't understand the value that they bring, right, to Liberia. So we want to have a conversation about that. Like as youth in Liberia, what are some of the things that you value? Making yourself look as an asset to the country, right? What are some things that you're doing, or to to make yourself valuable? So we will get started, and when the panelists can join us, they will. If they cannot, we will be having a conversation. So the first question we're going to be looking at today is what values should define Liberian youth today, right? As Liberian youth, what are some values that we must have that is going to bring impact to the country, that's going to bring impact to that's going to help the country, right? Not just bearing the title as a Liberian youth, but instead having a very better understanding of the topic, right? What are some core values, or what are we doing as young people positively to shape the landscape of of our country, right? Now we will dive in that discussion. We'll be looking at the young the young age, right? Now, so as we have been discussing on this show, if you have not been following us, we want to Liberian youth today. Liberian youth today, right? We are guided, or we should be guided by integrity, by respect, by discipline, by hard work, and by patriotism, right? Now we see a lot of Liberian youth bear these characteristics, but some of them do not, understand fully what does it means, right? To have integrity. What does it mean as young people or as a young Liberian who want to see change in the nation? You have to have integrity, right? Doing the right thing when nobody else is looking. That definitely on its own is the definition of integrity, right? Doing the right thing even when no one else is looking. But we see as Liberian youth, do we have integrity as a person? Do you have integrity to, because if you want to instill change, right, you have to definitely have integrity. As young people, if you do not have integrity, then how do you want to, send the change in the nation? How do you want the change to come? It start with us as young people. We have to value ourselves. We have to value the the banner for we will fall under as young people, right? We have to have that integrity. We have to be disciplined. We have to have respect. We have to be a patriot to the country, right? Now, if we have these characteristics as young people, then definitely we want the landscape of Liberian youth of Liberian youth to change. But if we do not possess these characteristics or similar characteristics, then we'll just be here saying the same thing over and over and over and again, right? Because if we're looking at what values we bring to the country, we must be talking about integrity. We're talking about discipline. We're talking about patriotism. These are all things that contributes towards a better nation, right? They contribute towards a better youth who want to see the country moving forward. I also want to ask the next question: is young people, uh, are we doing enough to positively change Liberian future? That is a very important question, right? Are we doing things enough to change the Liberian future positively, right? We sit out here, we have a lot of Liberian youths who are around the world that are doing something that making positive impacts. Some of them through education, some of them through entrepreneurship, some of them through activism, right? But then there are also many of our Liberian youth who are still disengaged, right? And then we have to stand up as Liberians if we want to shape the Liberia's future for the next generation after us, right? We have to be involved. We have to make positive change, whether it's through education or whether it's through entrepreneurship or whether it is through activism, right? We have to one way or the other contribute towards the landscape of Liberia, because if we as young people are not making impact positively to the nation, then why do we beg then we should not be angry if we see people who are mature doing the wrong thing. Because if you want to be patriotic, most definitely you have to contribute positively to Liberia, right? One way or the another, whether it is through entrepreneurship, like I mentioned earlier, or whether it is through patriotism or activism, you have to contribute to Liberia's future, right? So, what are you doing as a young person? Examine yourself. Am I making positive change to Liberia? Am I doing something that others are going to look back on tomorrow and say, yes, this thing happened because of me, or this thing happened because I helped to, because I helped to,
Yes, yes. Let me find it here.
right? So as young people, as
Give
Liberians who are young and patriotic, we have to understand the very land scope for which we build our nation on, right? If we sit out here and say, oh yeah, we want to be patriotic enough, or we want to positively create change towards the nation, then we must have ourselves making positive impact towards the country. But if we do not make positive impact towards the country as young people, then we have no moral justification to say that people who are not making patriotic impact towards the nation, right? So if we want to have a positive change towards the nation, then we definitely have to have ourselves as young people get involved in this nation. So at this time, I'm going to take a pause and welcome on Ambassador Josephus D. N. Grams. Can you hear me, sir? Ambassador Grams, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, please do, please do. Okay. So Mr. Ali is also a very mindfulness and meditation trainer who has proven record of being a mindful or peace architect. He
Are
also
you talking to me? Ambassador Grams,
yes, are you okay now?
can you hear me?
I will begin in the name of Jesus. Leon, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you now. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Leon, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
But it's that kind of low. I'm not
You're not
getting
hearing
too
me?
quiet.
Go back.
Can I leave and come back?
Yes, you can. All right, so back to the conversation, right? So, we a lot of internet connectivity happening in the nation. So we are back to the topic of having our what are positive things that we expect young people to do to shape Liberia's future, right? And then the next question, we on the next discussion point is, as young people, right, as youth, how can we hold one another accountable in the society? You see, in life, one of the things that is very, very important is the fact that holding people accountable
Yeah.
for every actions that they will take, right? Do you hear me now, Josephus?
I hearing you clear. Can you hear me too?
I hear you now. All right, so we're just having a conversation on. So there are a couple of topics that I was running through, and then I would let to give you the time to give your point as we move forward. So the first question we're looking at today is, what are some values that should define Liberian youth in our society?
Yeah, so thank you all so much and thank you for welcoming me in studio. We have a small little network, uh, something that the reason why I got me late in studio. But let me say thank you to the many listeners who always sponsor. However, the value that today Liberian youth have to put themselves into is once you see the issue of education in our education system, there should be a possibility, there should be a way that we youth of the 21st century should be able to put ourselves that kind of a value because we understand that there are formal education and there are informal education. But basically, be it formally or informally, there should be a possibility that we involve ourselves, value ourselves in the realm of education. Because an uneducated man is always devalued whenever he is having conversation. Let's take for instance, uh, um, as a youth, you are being invited to an occasion and you have a suggestion why the occasion is going on. You have a suggestion to make. Because of you being uneducated, your suggestion is being degraded in that particular surrounding. So there should be a possibility that we involve ourselves in the education system, be it formally or informally, because we understand life have a greater value for us. But the only way we can obtain that value is to put ourselves and be determined. The issue about determination, we have to be determined in life. We have to be focused in everything we do. Be a leader, we got to put our mind, we got to put our all into it and see how best we can succeed in life. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Ambassador Grams. That was well put. So the next question that I was discussing prior to you coming on, right? So as young people in the nation or as young people in Liberia, what should we be doing positively to shape Liberia's future? I've already given my input, and I'm throwing a question over to you. What should young people be doing right now to positively shape Liberia's future?
Yeah, some of those things that we had to do positively to shape the future of Liberia, to shape the future of the next generation to come is one, we got to get rid of what we call blaming the government. It is true that the government will not do everything to the satisfaction of the citizens. But we as young people, what are we doing? Are we creating jobs for ourselves? Are we getting ourselves involved doing something? Are we getting ourselves involved doing business? Or are we relying everything on the government of the republic? We know that the government will not be able to do everything 100% or even 95%. The government will try to do it 50%, but we got to involve ourselves, because the more we got involved into those things positively, we will understand that we're taking the nation somewhere. We will not know except somebody tells you that yes, indeed, you are taking the nation somewhere. Now, let's see how best to eliminate the issue about drugs in our country. Let's see how best. Let's see how best to get rid of drugs. Let's see how best to get there and encourage those who are addicted to the issue of drugs. See how better to counsel them. See how best to educate them. What are the harmful part of those substances that you are taking in? And see how best to bring them, convert them from being a drugs addict to being a perfect person in life. That alone sense of praise, a sense of praise to the government of the Republic of Liberia. That's one of the positive things we are doing to get rid of drugs. We shouldn't support the issue of a drugs. Now, let's look at Zokos and Zokis. Let's see how best to find ourselves doing something. This is why when I'm speaking from the content of finding ourselves to do something, it is very broad and it's very deep, because we know Zokos, we know Zokis. People who form themselves as Zokos, there should be a possibility that we see how best to talk to those people, find something from them to do. See how better to hustle for ourselves. See how better to get one or two slippers and be passing around with it. See how best to put our cold waters on our head and pass around, and see how best to make father and stop burger riding people's houses, and stop chopping people, and stop threatening people's life. Stop fighting with nerve, different substances on the streets. I believe that if we try to put these things in place, we are giving a positive result to the government, not just the government, but we are giving a sense of improvement, development, and growth to the whole wide world.
Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So moving on to the next conversation we're looking at, we want to dive into the aspect of the educational sector in Liberia as it relates to young people, right? So, you being from an educational background, right? So the question is Liberia educational system designed to prepare youth for real world opportunity? In your opinion, what do you think?
Yes, I may say yes, and I may say no in two different capacity. Now, I may say yes because our students, Liberians, special Africans, but basically Liberians, because we are talking about Liberia. Basically, Liberian students have been trained up the hard way. They have been educated the very hard way. So I guess that a person taking their almost 18 plus years, spend it in high school, there should be a possibility that that person should be prepared to overcome challenges to come. In another sense, I may say no. You see, this is why when Ellen, the former ex-president, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, made a statement saying the education system of Liberia is a mess. People thought that people took it on the social media, or brutalizing and other things. But in one way that support her, I'm from in the educational sector. One thing, you're looking at somebody who failed in another school, coming to another school without bringing a transcript, without bringing a letter of recommendation, without even bringing a grade sheet, but you accept that person. How can you classify that kind of a system? People failing in high schools, even in the colleges, in the universities. There were people who had deficiency, but yet and state teachers are still being brave by money to see how best to pass those people. Are you think they are preparing people for future generation? They are not. This is why you see you got most of our high school graduates who don't know how to reference a letter, who don't even know how to compose speech. They don't even know the difference between speech and appreciation. You get, mama, you witness when the school year comes to an end, or high school graduations. Some of the graduations you witness it, bro. You see how people how people do not even take into consideration such a very agreement. They kind of mistakes. We are sat in school for over 10 to 15 years plus, and then where I'm supposed to make my parents proud, instead of bringing disgrace to my parents. So we look at it from that two capacity. We say yes, it may be good based upon one thing. If Labrador get rid of those things that I just listed. And on the other side, it may be bad if Labrador continue to go with the same road. Thank you.
Great, awesome. That was very So just to add my 2 cents to it, right, on the issue of Liberian educational system, creating or preparing you for the real world opportunities. I would say partially, right? Because if we look at education as a sector, we know for a fact that what education provides the basic knowledge for people to have understanding, it also lack the practical skills, right? And career guidance and things like that. So for instance, if we look at the high schools right now in Liberia, you have opportunities where students are doing biology, where students are doing chemistry. Now, these subjects requires them to have a lab experience, right? A laboratory experience. But then many at times, or many of these high schools in Liberia do not have the laboratory equipments to even conduct experiments that happen in the country. Moving that forward to some of these universities that we have out there, right? Some of these universities doesn't have an actual lab equipment to even run a lab test. But then yet and still they are teaching chemistry, they're teaching biology, they're teaching hemodynamic here and there. So I think for me, I'll go with partially it partially help. Right. So the next question is so with your ideology, right? Should skills and vocational trainings be included in our high school academic curriculum in Liberia? What do you think about it? Vocational trainings that are being conducted now out of vocational training institute, should these those skills be transferred over to the high school curriculum? What is your take on that? You are muted. Are you with us?
Yeah, you are like breaking in, bro. Like the reason you are like breaking in, so I was trying to understand the question.
I wasn't bringing it, but maybe you backtrack a little bit. But the question is based on your answers and that you provided earlier about educational system. So should Liberia include these vocational institutes trainings in our high school academic curriculums? Like, what do you think about that?
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. I would rather prioritize that they include the vocational sectors within our high school curriculum. Eh? You see, there are a few high schools that is doing TVET. Now, you notice that a student who is in seventh grade, before they come out from high school, they already train with certain skill. They train with certain thing. Because if your school let us by sharp 2 o'clock, that person had 30 to 45 minutes to sit for the TVET class. So it means that if you want to specialize in computer science, you go for your computer science class. If you want to specialize in soap making, you go for your soap making class. So not to take much time for me, I prioritize that it should be included in the curriculum. Yeah, it should even be included in the WAS syllabus. It should be included in the WAS syllabus. And the West African Examination Council should take into consideration, and they should be able to administer at the test for them. Yeah. So that we can test their basic skill after they have gone through the training for a several time. What is their output? You know, our evaluate them to know their strength before even confirm your document on them. So I think I'll support that.
Great, sweet, sweet. Moving on, right? So I want us to shift our culture a little bit, right? We have talked about educational system in Liberia. We have talked about the youth and their value as it relates to what they bring to the nation. I want us to look at youth and this entire age now, this generation that we are involving in technology, in AI, in just the technological side of it, right? So now the question is, the question I will ask you, in your opinion, is, has this technological last age, as I've seen everything going digital, has this digital age affect the Liberian youth? What do you think about it? Like opportunity, everything that relates to technology, has it affect, how has it affect our Liberian youth today?
Yeah, so it affect our Liberian youth in so many ways. And just all of these ways, just someone on one thing, the misuses of technology in our country. That's the problem. Technology is not bad. We Liberians, we the youth, we citizens pray that Liberia improve to a technology stage, that tomorrow you see, if you are in the education sector, if a person is to, like what you're talking about, the laboratory, right? You visit most of the laboratory around, be it biology life, be it chemistry life, be it science life. And there should be a projector there, that even if you're talking about a boom, it should be projected, and the students should see the boom, the different type of booms, and how they are being connected, those parts of the boom. It should be projected in the laboratory. But nothing like that of such. Nothing like that. And our students these days, instead of them taking their phone to go and do research, waste this, my man. You on the internet 24/6, right? Like, you see, AI now is helping the whole wide world. It's helping the whole wide world. Now you want to list the parts of the brain. Just put on YouTube. Parts of the brain, they will teach you. They will teach you. But rather, our students, our youth are using it. They won't be posting their naked photos. They won't wear the every new fashion account. They won't post it. I was just telling somebody, I was telling a good friend of mine. I said, visit my social media page. All of my photos you see that are just photos are repeating. In fact, I hardly post new photo. I hardly. Like the way people go on occasion, they want to tell the whole world whatever they are the band on the occasion. No. Only one occasion you see on my social media page. So you see that's the misusing of technology in our country. Other people, you see, like the phone, when phone came, other people, phone at least living from those days communication that you have to hear, that you gotta use the sound communication. And when somebody in the next village, you go up and beat the drum, the beat of the drum tells what happening in the next town. Liberia have left from that stage to come to the technology stage of technology. Liberia provided phone for us, at least to communicate to see about the centers. But other people use it to criticize. Other people use it to cause the president. Other people use it to talk things that they have nothing to do. That even if you having to put them in that place, they won't do anything. They use it. So you see that Facebook, let's look at Facebook. Facebook is where you get information. Look at people hacking people page on Facebook. That's the wrong. It's wrong. Why are you hacking your friend page? To gain what? To benefit what? These are questions we should be asking ourselves. What am I going to do on Facebook? What is the purpose of Facebook? But you see some of the things. You see some of the things that happen in our century these days. So I guess that if Liberia prepare, if Liberia is taking technology very quickly, I think it will be better. I was telling
Thank
somebody lastly. I was just telling somebody, I say, if you want to compare yourself with the American system, brother, you'll be far off. Because for
you.
me, for my opinion, I haven't seen an American student in classroom while teacher teaching or sitting in classroom and doing TikTok or doing a live video. No, for me, I haven't seen it. Maybe you have seen it, but for me, I haven't seen it. It tells you that the people have respect for the culture and the issue about technology. There, they're using it the right way. Thank you.
So let me hold you and go back to what you just mentioned, right? About the use of technology or Facebook or TikTok in a very positive way, right? So with that ideology, how can youth use technology positively now? Since you give them the option of you can use it that way. So how how can they use it? How can our youth around the world or in Liberia particularly use this new age technology, this new age AI, this new age access to information via the internet? How do you think that our young people out there can use it, or what can they use it for?
So the social media should be used basically for educational purposes. It's where you go, you look for research, you do research. It's where you go, you have a quiet time with. If I'm practicing journalism, let me be able to put it there. What are the steps? What do I need to know as a beginner coming up in journalism, practicing journalism? The internet will teach me everything I need. It just basically just to get a concept to read. You see it? Just to read. I guess that when we can read, nothing. We can send that to our house. It's just like we can send that to our home and obtain our BSc. We can send that to our home and obtain our master. We can even send that to our house. Now, look at the internet. People are having online classes. University are pronouncing online classes. But our youth don't want to take the challenge. They don't want to feel encouraged to attend. Eh? Few hours ago, I just left on an online class. Before I could join it, before I could join studio. That one of the things that delayed me so much to come in studio. So I guess that when we're using it for educational purposes, like one of the apps they get locked, LinkedIn. When you go on LinkedIn, that's where you find most of the job vacancy. That's where you find most of the scholarship, full scholarship. What country? And the university. You go there, you have a conversation. Means of professor from different localities. Mean professor from different localities. Try to make them your mentor. Inbox them and make them your mentor. At least during your quiet time, ask them when can you be quiet, when can you be less busy, and have a conversation with them. I guess that when we're using those things, basically, it will be
Thank you.
better for us.
Thank you. So let's talk about the way forward, because we have talked about a lot of great things here as it relates to our Liberian our Liberian opportunity, and we are about to run out of time. We got roughly about 10-15 minutes in studio left. So what is the way forward, right? Of all of these great things that you mentioned, what should Liberian youth do differently going forward, right? And what is your message to them? How can they do some things differently going forward?
First thing is we got to forget about criticism. Forget about too much criticizing people. Criticism will not help us. But rather, let us see how better to put ourselves. This war, Emiliano Zampata once said, the height by which great men reach, it was not by soaring flight. But they were basically working while their champions slept. So if you cannot walk, there should be a possibility. If you cannot crawl, you should be able to walk. If you cannot walk, you should be able to jog. If you cannot jog, you should be able to run. But just in case you cannot do any of those things, do something to keep yourself moving. So I guess that if we put ourselves, forget about booing people, forget about criticizing people, and see how better fund ourselves doing something positively, I guess that the country will be able to be developed. The country will be able to move forward. Thank you.
Great, thank you. That was very impactful. So the last 10 minutes, I want us to dedicate it to current events, right? Do you know who the content creator and the social media influencer called Asho Speak? Do you know who that is?
Can you come again? Come
So
again?
there is a there's a massive social media influencer named Asho Speed, right? He's doing an African tour. He will be in Liberia, give or take the next week or the week after, right? So and I think that is the boost to our, I wouldn't say economy, but I say the boost to our entertainment industry. So Ashospi is a well known celebrity, is a well-known content creator and social media influencer. So he will be heading to Liberia soon, right? Now, heading to Liberia soon, what do you think? Or what should Liberians be hoping on? Or what should Liberians do to make sure that Ashospi is being having a hospitality that he needs?
So even though I don't know the person, I don't know that content creator in person, but I
Yeah.
guess that we should be very we are labyrinth. We have to be very supportive.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have to be very very much supportive. If I don't know action, I don't know action what
I
when
shall speak.
arrive
Yeah,
in
just
Liberia,
I shall speak.
action speak. So I
Hmm.
guess that when you arrive in Liberia, there should be a possibility that if you know yourself, a message go out there to all of our content creators, basically in Liberia, that we should put ourselves together and give Action Speaks a warm welcome to Liberia and see how better engage with him where we had deficiency in our entertainment sectors and see how
Hmm.
better have those conversations with him and see whatever best way he think and help if that workshop. Let him be able when I 1 week or 2 weeks for the next time he will be here. If that workshop, even 3 days or 1 week workshop, let him be able to host it with content creator all over Liberia. And there should be a publicity all over the Republic of Liberia. And he should be mass protected. There should be massive protection on him. Let us see about swing and mean people. What are the thing? Nana in Liberia, one of the key things that the content creator them facing is the issue of monetization. They want for their pages to be monitored as.
Okay.
See? So I think if you 18 agent speaker when you see how better and negotiate with him, see how best he will meet the president of the Republic of Liberia or other hierarchies within the government and tell them. I don't know who may be hosting him, but I think if we follow that path, we'll get to another level. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now we have reached the point where we would like to take a parting statement from you, right? What is your message to our young people who are listening to you or who will listen to you on this show in the coming days? What is your message to them? What message would you send to them, to youth and our national leaders? What would you say to them? What would you recommend them to do?
To our young people in this life, nobody succeeds for their friend. Each one succeed for themselves. The best capacity you can find yourself in our 21st century is to keep yourself busy doing something. Look, too much pleasure will not solve the problem. Too much be show will not solve the problem. See how best to create a job for yourself. See how best to be somebody good in the future. See how better create something that you can keep yourself busy positively that you think the nation could recognize you tomorrow. And to our government officials, particularly the President of the Republic of Liberia, let us see how best to invest our all in our youth. The youth of Liberia deserve better. The youth of Liberia deserve a better country, a better economy, a better job facility, a better educational system, a better health system. Let us see our best to create a job. If in any capacity, we shouldn't dwell like a favoritism or nepotism. We should see our best if we're creating job opportunity, it should go across the 15 counties of the Republic of Liberia so that we can eliminate those things that are not bringing profit, that are not bringing growth and development to our nation. And to our youth, I encourage you all the time to be on Central TV every Friday, every Sunday, every Wednesday, and every Thursday. There are so many exciting shows that on the station that you can keep yourself, that inspires you, that motivates you, and you can be a better change to your brothers and sisters out there. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Graham. So by the 22nd of January, we're supposed to be hitting our live Facebook stream. So currently, we are currently streaming live on YouTube right now. So give or take by the 22nd of January, we'll have then more audience, more views watching us. So thank you for following us. This is Sandra TV. I've been your wonderful host, Leon Twazama, and thank you for joining us. We will be seeing you next Friday at about this time. Thank you. God bless you, and we will be seeing you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Central TV is here. We the best now in time.